I'm Danielle. I'm a long-time eBay seller. And recently, eBay reached out to me and asked me to participate in a seller spotlight. I think when this happens, our first reaction is like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I'll get my name out there, I'll get my store out there. For me, it was a little bit different because, like most eBay sellers, this is a solo journey. This is a very by yourself kind of thing. I started selling in 1999, 26 years ago, when I had my first baby. Matthew was 2, and I had been watching eBay. I was auction web and then turning into eBay and started selling things almost immediately. But because eBay gives us so much flexibility as a seller, we can do as much as we want or as little as we want. I think it was last year when I reached out to them to host a seller meeting. Now at that point they were called seller meetings. They have now, since eBay Open in Vegas, turned it to seller circles. So I reached out to them, and I'd been a top rated seller. I always have free shipping. I had fun items. I had household items and fun items, and was doing the kawaii thing and very much enjoyed it. I think it was in April of last year when I heard back from them. So let me back up for a second. When eBay does its seller check-in, so they have spring seller check-in in March, and then summer seller check-in, which is in June, I think. Then they have eBay Open, which typically is in September, but this year it was in August. And then they have winter seller check-in, which is in October. So these 4 events, which I had always attended virtually, I never had attended an eBay Open in person. They'd had them in Boston, they had them around the country, but I never participated. And I think it was after the March one of 2024 that they'd mentioned seller meetings. And I said, I want to be a part of this. I want to meet another seller. Before last year, I had never met, in my 25 years, I'd never met another eBay seller. So the idea of meeting people in person scared me. I'm an introvert. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like I'm an extrovert. I'm not. I might be more classified as an extroverted introvert. I love people that I already know. I feel very comfortable with them, but meeting new people is sometimes scary. So I decided that to volunteer, and I was accepted in April of 24, last year, April. So we've been at a year and a half, a little bit more almost. So I got an email saying I was accepted. And this video is long, so if you want to skip forward, skip forward. But I just thought I'd put out my story just so you know a little bit more about me and who I am and what I do to keep community going. So in April of 24, I heard back from eBay, and they said that they would geo-target my area, which means they were going to send out an email blast to anybody that was near my zip code. My zip code is 23832, and they were going to send out an email blast. okay. And I decided I would host my first meeting in May of last year. And one person showed up, one. And he was actually in my subdivision. And I think he was just curious. He was like an eBay seller too, but he was just curious because he had gotten the geo-target. The geo-target was very small. I live in Chesterfield, Virginia, which is about 15 minutes outside of Richmond. And I think he showed up out of curiosity. After that first meeting, I was a little, I don't know, disheartened. And I said, okay, I'm going to try this again. And I started reaching out on my own to build a community. The way I would reach out to these people was to eBay sellers was not probably the best idea. Other sellers have adopted this and now use this method. But basically I would go into eBay, I would search a keyword, and I would pick a keyword of the day like wood or plushie or vintage. And then I would search by nearest first. So I would call these my sketchy emails. These were my sketchy messages on eBay. So my June meeting, I had 3 people show up. Rebecca, Jenna, and Sean. And these 3 sellers that showed up because of this weird email, I can't say enough about them. They were absolutely amazing. We had a great discussion that first June meeting. So we now were for the RVA meeting, Richmond, Virginia, we were at 5 members. Today, currently, we are at 180 plus. It's absolutely amazing how this community has grown. But I've put the work in. I have pulled teeth to get members and not always in kind of thinking outside the box. I love to do things differently. I am not a competitive person. I am a cooperative person. I want us all to succeed. We are all eBay sellers trying to figure out the platform, navigate the new territories. Then they invited me to speak at eBay Open 2024. I think there were 30 people that came in. I was grateful for each and every one. And then they asked me to speak at Spring Seller, Summer Seller check-in for 2025 with Brian, Kings of eBay, and Sergey, who is the Sellers Circle leader in Myrtle Beach. I think the 3 of us worked well together because we have since done, after Spring Seller check-in last year or this year, and Summer Seller check-in, we did, we did Winter Seller check-in again this year. I'm trying to recall. We've never met in person, the 3 of us, but we've gained a momentum to get people in. I think now RVA Seller Circles, we are now doing weekly listing days, which is something I developed because we as eBay sellers sometimes need motivation. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. Sometimes our space is just too much. It's hard because it's so low. So these are safe spaces where we can come in and we can all join on a group chat. They are 4 hours long and we talk about all kinds of things. Sometimes we work quietly and list. Other times we'll hold up an item and we'll say, what is this? Does anybody know? Or how do I list this? We've got people that are, I would say, very knowledgeable with jewelry, with sports cards, with ephemera, with vintage items. And this makes it so much more valuable because now you can ask questions in real time. You can get real answers. I can't say enough how much my business has grown, how other people's have grown. We lend advice, ask questions in real time. Really, truly amazing. I think what happened was I had always sent out all my orders the same way. I always treated them like they were very special. The connection between me and the buyer, I want the buyer to know that they are super appreciated. So I think eBay noticed this at some point, and there was actually somebody from the eBay team that ordered a notebook from me, and it was for her little girl. And they saw how I shared my video on social media. I share to 9 different social media platforms every time there's an order that comes in. I highlight the buyer with city and state, which you probably saw in the video that came out. But I think what happened was that eBay noticed this. They noticed that there was somebody just doing something a little bit differently, thinking outside that box, and whoops, dropping. I'm tearing up my stickers that I include. These are my Moo stickers, and I am tearing them up so that they are singles and ready to go. So that's what I'm doing, in case you're wondering. But I think eBay noticed this, and they said, we want to know what she's doing. And the idea of a seller spotlight, as I said before, it's very exciting. But then now that the video has come out today, and the seller spotlight, what do I want to say, article, it's a little making me feel a little anxious, because we don't ever look the way we want to look. We don't feel comfortable sometimes in our own skin, and I wanted to be me. I wanted to be authentic. I'm not going to sit there and doll up for a video when I am an eBay seller and this is what I do. I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to resonate with sellers out there. And if you're struggling, if you're not motivated, if you feel like you're overwhelmed, there is a safe space for you with our seller circle. We don't go thrifting together. We don't go out to lunch, although I'd love to. We don't go to get coffee, or we meet online. And RVA Seller Circle right now has, I think I said before, 180 members, and we range from Hawaii to Vermont to Massachusetts to Florida, California, Idaho, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and we recently had another seller join us from the UK, which is super exciting because he gets to, he gets to see things before we get to see them. Things are typically introduced over in Europe before they hit the States. So we get his take, like on the PLG that's coming out in January for us. I think it's January 13th for us. So it's already active there in the UK. So we were picking his brain about that. These meetings are super fun, super motivational. A lot of sellers have said they've listed things during those meetings and then sold them. As I said, I typically don't do videos like this because I don't like speaking directly to the camera. It's awkward for me. It doesn't feel very natural. But I wanted to try to explain this video that eBay is putting out right now and the background behind it. Because you as a small seller, if you are a small seller, you can gain so much from community. We are cooperative. We are not competitive. I tell the members of the RVA group that if I were to play a board game with you, I would let you win. I don't care about the winning. It's about the community that we are building. It's about how we all kind of help each other to succeed. So I do like collaborative games. I think they're super fun when we all are aiming toward a certain goal. And just because I sell one thing, it doesn't mean that you can't sell the same thing. There's no competition here. We have a chapter member in Florida who sells a lot of kawaii stuff as well. And there's no competition. We are fast friends. We met at eBay Open in Las Vegas. And I was invited to speak there on behalf of eBay for charity. I did terribly, but I did it. I stressed the whole time. If you've never been to an eBay Open event in person, that was my first time. It was beyond thrilling. It was so exciting. I had such a great time had I not been speaking. I was very focused and kind of crippled because I had a speaking engagement on stage, and it made me very nervous. One day I will get the chutzpah to post it, but not so far. I haven't even actually watched the whole thing. My husband recorded it, but I haven't even watched it yet because I'm, as I said, not comfortable in my own skin. But just wanted to tell you a little bit about me and about what I do. I think this year I've sold about 1,100 items. This year was not as good as last year. I did a lot of promoting. Last year I donated, I think I do 10% of every one of my sales to charity. I have free shipping on all my items, large or small. I do have 1 day shipping handling time, but I am changing that in 2026 to same day. I have now started to alter my times so that I can just get a little bit more boost in the algorithm. I do promote at 10%, like never. I do promote at 2% consistently, did all year. Last year I did not, made more money, obviously. But this year I sold more, but also paid more in promotion fees. 2%, never anymore. But we talk about a lot of this stuff. We talk about promoting, we talk about using eBay's free tools. I'm a big proponent of social media. You can do your own marketing. You don't have to pay for marketing. I post on TikTok, YouTube, X, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Pinterest, and Lemonade. And I post on 2 different Facebooks. And now recently I've been starting to post on Nextdoor and trying to get the word out about the RVA seller circles. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, and if you are not part of a seller circle, you can join multiple also. Remember that you don't have to just join one. All of our meetings are virtual. We have sellers now we are worldwide. I mean, so exciting. Not just nationwide, but worldwide. I can't believe it. I can't believe that we actually now have a member in the UK that is following RVA, our group. So exciting. So exciting, but I value every single member. I've gotten so much support, so much love from this community. And last year, just a year and a half ago, I had never met a single eBay seller in person. I want to know who you are. I want to know your story. I want to help you. I want you to help me. I want to play this eBay game together and see what we can come up with for 2026. I am Danielle. I am an eBay seller, and I can't wait to meet you.